wow, I'm just sitting here going, yes, 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 because I see and hear these things all day, every day. And a lot of, as an example, a lot of our neurodivergent brothers out there really love technical things. They
Mm-hmm.
really get into the technology of things. Like, let's say, for example, photography or something.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to a buddy of mine who's like, we're going to shoot this and this. We got this camera, we got this lighting. I'm gonna buy this upgrade thing, and da da da. Bear with me as I get data. And you say, dude, it's not a Hollywood production. You could shoot it with your stupid phone as long
Yeah.
as it looks pretty. That's all I care about.
Right.
And it's kind of deflating. Like, oh man, but I love the techie and in the weeds, nerdy. Read the instruction manual, watch 12 YouTube videos on how to use it, and they
Yeah.
really really get into that stuff. And they put that same type of energy into something as organic as a sex life with the
Yeah.
spouse. I bought 3 drinks. I bought her tennis bracelet. I bought trip to Puerto Rico. Da
Check.
da da da. Check
Check.
check check check
Check.
check. And end result is she ate bad food and got diarrhea and went to bed.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, things happen, dude. He
Yeah.
doesn't have that. A lot of he. I'm using the all encompassing term for he. The average dude in our group doesn't have that mechanism for no biggie.
Yeah.
It's calamitous. It's a major holy poop moment for them that this signals the end of everything.
Yeah.
They don't take rejection well at all. Oh my goodness, no.
Right.
That's it, in part why dating is so hard. I think this is in part why now that I have a partner, I am not going to let this person go no matter what, because the nightmare
Right.
of the dating that was anxiety producing. I have a low sense of self-worth, so I don't believe that I can go out and get another one like her. That seems like an impossible task. So I will put up with, unfortunately, a lot of really toxic behavior on the part of their partner. We hear that a lot,
Yeah.
especially when the woman is ultra avoidant to the almost tiptoeing towards some narcissistic behavior. I know that's the term du jour is narcissist. Everyone's a narcissist, but
Everyone's
narcissistic
a narcissist. Yeah. Yeah.
narcissistic tendencies we see a lot in some of our partners, and just makes it extra doubly, triply hard to navigate all of this.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is invaluable to these men, not to overinflate and oversell our group, is working with like-minded men. Thank goodness it is. They're like, phew, there's other men in my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there, done that, and here's how they overcame what seems to be an insurmountable obstacle to me. That gives them a lot of comfort. And if you're a guy watching or listening to this, you need other men, and whether it's our group or another group, get other men in your life. Super, super, super important. And what I've seen is what's ironic, and you probably have seen this too, how averse a lot of these men are to working with other men.
Yeah.
They may have been bullied.
Yep.
They may see a lot of, they look at their fellow man as being these Neanderthals who are, less than them. They have a sub whatever IQ. All they talk about is football, blah, blah, blah. Women are more, they're softer, more empathetic, and they're deeper. And women are more interesting. So I surround myself with women, and it doesn't hurt that I'm also attracted to them. And I hope that one of them likes me,
Yeah.
in that way. But yeah, you got to get past that anxiety. And all I can say is working with men is just such an aha moment for a lot of neurodivergent guys.
Oh my gosh. And you're so right. And men are conditioned to compete with each other, right?
Mm.
And men are conditioned that it's a zero-sum game, and one of us gets the girl, and one of us gets the house or the job. And it's like, man, that's not true. Like, it's just not. Like, the thing is, you don't have to play their game, and you don't have to play it their way, right? Let them play checkers if you want to play chess, right? But the most important thing to remember is that you're allowed to play chess, right? And it's a different thing. I mean, I have this theory when it comes to male friendship, that I think why do men have man caves, right? Why do men have man caves? Because it's a place to be and feel safe and feel protected. But it is also a place. Do you know a single man who has a man cave who has a singular chair in front of his TV?
No, good point. No,
Right?
it's usually like a little couch or yeah.
A
Mm-hmm.
couch, right? A couple of, a pool table, a foosball table.
Yeah.
They are
It's a
built,
community play. Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the communal pub. We've tried to put them in our homes, And yet we've put them in the least accessible room in our homes, the basement or the garage, right? And we don't invite people into the cave. So every guy is sitting there in his man cave, desperately hoping somebody will come to their house, but it's not a pub. People don't enter the pub. People enter pubs on purpose. They don't walk into your home and be like, hey, is Jerry here? Like,
Hmm.
that would be great, right? So all the men are sitting in their homes, staring at their phones, wishing somebody would ask them to hang out, but every man assumes the other man is doing something. Oh, I can't. Ralph's at the game tonight. Or Jerry's taking his wife out to dinner. Or Bob's got jujitsu tonight. First off, like, why are you not at the concert? Why are you not taking jujitsu? I don't think you want to go out with Ralph and his wife, but if you want to, then go with God, my child, right? But the thing is, if you don't ask, you won't know. And this is where the concept of rejection sensitivity dysphoria comes in, very common in neurodivergent people. And it's the idea, like, no one likes to be no one likes to be rejected, right? Unless that's your kink. And then once again, big thumbs up for you, bro. But the idea is that rejection feels bad. But if you're a neurodivergent person, your brain is trying so hard to protect you from rejection. It anticipates scenarios in which you are rejected, and it hurts you. So you are carrying pain from an interaction that hasn't happened yet, and it pisses off your partner, or it makes your partner concerned, and you are putting that negative energy on a person who hasn't done anything yet,
Hmm.
right? And this in the bedroom, right? I talk to guys about this, like, well, I'm laying there, and I mean, I could make a move, but she'll say no. And if she says no, it'll hurt. And that sucks. Why do we have a sexless marriage? I'm so miserable. When I was single, at least I could masturbate. And it's like, I'm like, dude, you just read the first 7 chapters of the book where, like, you haven't even picked up you haven't opened the cover yet, right? Like, why not have a conversation with your wife about whether you can have sex tonight? And maybe she says no, but the reality is, most of those times, the actual conversation is softer, gentler, more affirming than the 6-car pileup you've created in your mind, right? And this is, I think all humans would benefit from this advice, but I really want my men out there to hear this. In life, we want to deal with what is, not what if.
Hmm.
It is very easy to deal with what if, to create these scenarios in our brains, but those scenarios don't actually prepare us for anything real. What if my wife says no to me tonight? Well, if you ask her, then you will deal with what is happening. Maybe she says yes. Maybe she says, like, oh, I'm not into it, but I hired this 19-year-old Swedish au pair. And, right? I mean, you don't know until you ask, man. And, like, the 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 piece of this that is real, that is like, we cannot pretend the hurt isn't there. We can't pretend that this is gonna feel good, or like, gee, Jim, why aren't you so afraid of hearing no's? It's like, well, because we're human and it sucks, right?
Hmm.
But the life you want is on the other side of that fear. So we need to figure out how we get to the other side of that fear.
Hmm. But the for the men I speak to, the ultimate obstacle of that is there is a worst case scenario in that particular scenario, which a lot of my men have run into, which is, hey, wife, do you want to follow? And the response is, you've asked me that about 600 times. And I thought you would have gotten the message by now. Why don't you go get you another woman? Or I don't think this is going to work. And oof, I talk about tough. That's really,
Yeah.
really tough, especially for our neurodivergent brothers out there. The rejection, that's the ultimate rejection. Our family and everything we know about it is done.
Yeah.
And that just floods them with all kinds of, and they hear other stories of men hitting that point. And a lot of men, full disclosure, after they come to our group, they've hit a lot of really bad milestones in the relationship, and a lot of bad things happen along the way, and they're just clawing and trying to hold on, with their fingernails they're on the edge of the cliff, just hanging on, just hoping that they can pull themselves up. And there's the wife stomping on their fingers saying, no, let go, dummy.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to let go. But the kicker is, guys, if you're in that position, really volatile, toxic relationship, for lack of a better term, sometimes the good stuff is on the other side after you drop said relationship, and then you get to live again and
Yeah.
potentially find a partner that's a better match for you.
Right.
But that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially for our neurodivergent guys out there.
Well, and
Yeah.
you used a beautiful analogy there. Like the energy we spend hanging on to the end of the cliff is meant to protect us from the fall. But have you seen the movie Encanto? The
I,
Disney movie came out I think 2 years ago now.
I know of it. I've not
Yeah.
watched it.
So there's this scene right where the main character Mirabelle is chasing somebody through the back doors of the house, and it gets into the mythology of the movie. We don't need to explain that, but she's hanging for her life in this chasm, and her uncle reaches down and he saves her, but then he falls and his hand slips, and he falls, and you're like, oh my gosh! And then the fog clears and he's fallen about a foot and a half, and he's standing there perfectly, like he goes, oh, our brains. And I think if you grew up in the Looney Tunes generation, you think
Mhm.
every fall is into a chasm, and I think a lot of falls are shorter and less painful than we think. Now, that
Yeah.
isn't to say they're not painful, but less painful, right? Yeah. But if I'm spending all my energy hanging onto this cliff, if I let myself fall, it will hurt. But what you're doing is you're trading a little pain for a long time versus a lot of pain for a short amount of time and then nothing, right?
Well put. Yeah.
And I think we end up in the plus side when we give ourselves permission to hurt a little bit now to feel a lot a bit better later. And going back to the asking for sex thing, like you risk the no, you risk the anxiety of having to ask. But on the other side of that ask, you either get to have sex, which is great, or and you don't have to worry about it.